Most people don't see this, but Bethesda put this strange feature in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Well, it's not really a feature, it's just a thing that happens. You see, when you use the wait feature, you can see the world move around you really fast. The wait feature works on an hour-by-hour basis. That is, you can choose to wait a certain number of hours of in-game time. This is different from sleeping because it doesn't help heal your wounds. It doesn't put you in a bed during those hours either. You just kind of stand there. Most people use this feature for little things, like, for example, if you just get out of a dungeon or a building and it's nighttime and it's hard to see, you might choose to wait till morning. The thing about the wait feature, though, that differs from the previous Elder Scrolls games, such as Oblivion, is that in between the hours passing, you can still see the world around you moving, but with an extremely modified frame rate. Mostly, nothing interesting happens. You can see the shadows of trees moving throughout the day, but nothing of real note. Nothing of real note, except that one night that I came across something strange happening in between the hours. I had previously assumed that people and living things didn't even render during the wait time, but it would appear that I was wrong. It was about 11 p.m. and I was feeling drowsy. I was waiting from 3 hours in-game to about 8 a.m. in-game so that the merchants in Whiterun would finally open. That's when I noticed something strange pass right by me, though. I saw some kind of shadowy figure dip out from the ground, up so its head was showing, then fall back in, all within about half a second. I was shocked at first, and I almost jumped out of my seat. I tried to remember, and decided that the figure must have been a model of a dragon, performing the flying animation a tad bit lower than it should have been, and missing its textures because it appeared just all black like a black model. I went on the Bethesda forums after that to ask about the dragon, but in writing my post, I misspelt dragon as Dagon, and we all affectionately dubbed the monster Dagon the Dark. Even with the 3 people willing to help me speculate, we were clueless. A person under the alias of Cylinder Dude pointed out to me that if Dagon was simply missing his texture files, he'd be invisible, not all textured black. That's something. He told me that he'd dig around in the game files for some all-black dragon textures. I went back into the game later that night and realized something strange was happening within the game. There were no more dragons in Skyrim. I know, it seems surreal considering that one of the main objectives of the game is to kill dragons, but I searched far and wide for some sort of dragon to fight, but for the life of me, I couldn't find one. Over 6 in-game days of just wandering around, and I didn't encounter a single dragon. I even tried summoning Alduin to fight me, but nothing came. And I know I performed the shout correctly too, but just nothing. I figured something was wrong with my save file, but no, dragons were completely gone. So, logically, I tried to start up a new game, but that's when things got creepy. Instead of starting out in the opening prisoner sequence and getting the Unbound quest, the game started off in Whiterun at Dragon's Reach. I searched the whole place and the Jarl was missing. All that happened was I appeared in the hall and I heard the Jarl's voice say,
"You have to slay the beast."
I remember questioning whether I had actually heard that audio in-game or not. If you stick around in the hall for a little while longer, you can hear him say,
"Please."
Then the music stops until you leave. I assumed that by beast, he meant the dragon you meet in the Dragon Rising quest. Whatever the case was, I went outside and found Irileth and the rest of the guards waiting for me. I tried talking to Irileth, but all she said was,
Please, slay the beast!
I went down to the watchtower where you fight the dragon, but there wasn't any dragon. The tower was still wrecked, but nothing was on fire like it usually is. I got close and suddenly got pulled into a conversation with one of the guards cowering in the tower. He said, again with dialogue I had never heard in-game before,
Please, you have to kill it. It's only you. You can please save us from it. You have to kill it. Please.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't the voice the guard usually talks in, too. I got a dialogue choice, yes or no. I chose yes, eager to face the dragon or whatever else my clearly fucked up game could throw at me. But it was then that the guard looked down at me and scared me. He said something, and it was a bit louder than usual. My speakers must have been messed up with the stereo placement because it sounded like it was coming from behind me. All he said was,
Don't just stand there.
Then it happened. Dagon the Dark dove right the fuck out of that tower, this time without wings, swallowed up the guard, and dragged his body into the ground. I jumped, because it made this otherworldly, echoey grunt that made my speakers buzz and my desk vibrate. From there, it just became chaos. All the guards and Irileth started scrambling, running faster than they should have been able to, unarmed and hopeless. One by one, Dagon, a wingless ground dragon, came up and swallowed them all, until I was the only one left. It was then that Dagon came up from the darkness and swallowed me. My character got sucked down into the ground, and everything went white. I looked down, and fear gripped me instantly. I saw Dagon's face. My character model was inside Dagon's mouth, which was white from the inside, and at the bottom were two piercing small black eyes and a humongous jagged black mouth, like a dog. It stared at me, but I couldn't look away, which I'd initially registered as the game's fault, but soon I realized there was a deeper problem. I couldn't move my mouse. I was paralyzed at my desk, looking at this horrible, monstrous face. This lasted for what seemed like an eternity, and it was then that I woke up near my bed, standing. It was insane. I had just skipped through time to the next morning, completely blanking out everything that had happened that night. I'm really scared at this point, so I go to my computer to try and consult Cylinder Dude about this. I find that he sent me about 5 "Where are you" messages over the night. I tell him about the events that happened the night prior, and then he tells me that he can't find a face texture or a Dagon wingless dragon model anywhere in the game's directory. He asks me to send him a copy of my game directory so he can patch his game with my buggy files and check it out. I send him the files, and over the next few weeks, we both experiment with the game. First, he played my save file again. He played a few times, and after some time, we were able to figure out that the game has a few rules. First, you need to kill Dagon. How exactly you do this is still not certain, but Cylinder Dude, who eventually told me his name was Sam, thinks that you may need to find an in-game item to kill him. Second, you can't let Dagon kill you. Now, that seems almost impossible at first, but Sam and I gradually figured out that there is a thing that triggers Dagon attacking you, and it's Irileth getting eaten. There is, in fact, a way to save Irileth, and by extension, yourself. Dagon makes this screeching sound for about a half a second before he attacks Irileth. If you can successfully hear that and start a conversation with her in time, you can save her from getting eaten. And third, fast travel and wait are disabled. The initial plan was to, get this, simply run all over every inch of Skyrim's world, all whilst talking to Irilith every 5 seconds. We'd use the console to make her follow us, and just keep wandering and searching everywhere for this random item that kills Dagon somehow. It was this crazy and painstaking plan, but no one can obsess over things like those without a social life. Sam, understanding my concerns with the game after my blackout episode, offered to try it out for me, and I sent him a thank you email, and he said he was going to work. But that's the last I heard from him. He was gone. No more emails, nothing. I even scanned the forums for posts from him, but he just dropped off the map. Non-existent. I got scared. So scared, in fact, that I didn't even want to turn on my computer for a while. I scanned the news for any mentions of a search party or something, and eventually succeeded in pushing it to the east back of my mind. I tried to forget about Sam and his fate, but of course that didn't work. As soon as I went to sleep, I hovered over my bed and thought about Sam and what had happened to him. It ate me up like, well, that damned wingless dragon. Over the course of a week, though, I gained the drive to try the game again. I decided that a computer game couldn't hurt me. It was nothing more than a few billion lines of code. So I started up the opening screen. Apples. I swear to Christ, they were chanting apples. The home screen music had switched from just to chants of apples. I disregarded my insanity and plunged further into my game. There are approximately over 4,000 apples in Skyrim, across barrels and other things. One of them is poison. One of them can kill Dagon. Only one of them can slay the beast. I managed to save Irilith for the few first times. I walked backwards, keeping my crosshairs on her in case I needed to save her, checking the map every so often to make sure that I was walking in the right direction. I made it from Whiterun to the fort just outside of it before I fucked up and let her die. Which means I had to stare into Dagon's piercing eyes again. Which means I blacked out again. I arose, standing in front of my bed, angry, violated. But I wasn't going to give up on this. So this is what I did every night. Every night, making it a little further, but blacking out a little longer. This went on for about 2 weeks, and then I found what I made. Sam was dead. I saw the news that his body had been found naked in the woods. His teeth had been ripped out and replaced with dog's teeth. This was the morning I woke up in front of my closet, not in front of my bed. I opened my closet. I swear for a mere millisecond, maybe shorter, I saw Dagon's face in my closet. And I jumped, of course. The body disappeared and at least 40 apples, all of them with bites taken out of them, fell out of my closet, right onto my feet. Just apples, apples, apples.
Don't just stand there.
Sam was right behind me. It had to be him. I felt that it was him. I felt that I owed him. He was right behind me one instant, and then he was gone. I fell into the apples. They ate me. He died. He died because of me. He said, please, and I just stood and did nothing.
Don't just stand there.
There are over 4,000 apples in Skyrim. You can
Save us. You can slay the beast.